So have you found, since you've switched back, you built this studio, you've been recording some bands here, have you found that the bands show up with a different mentality, a different attitude?
Oh, undoubtedly. If they don't have it before they turn up, after obviously people just don't turn up here. They just don't walk in. But so I'll be talking to a band about working with them, and then they'll, I'll explain some of the sort of ethics and what have you of what I do, and then when they turn up, there may be a certain amount of scepticism still involved. There may be, a lot. If they've never actually worked on analogue before, they have no clue what I'm talking about a lot of the time. But it doesn't take long before they're there, before they get it. It's very quick. The difference is very apparent very, very quickly to all sorts of bands. I mean, people that have already worked on analogue, if they were working on it at a sufficiently high level, when I mean that, not a sufficiently high level of equipment, but a sufficiently high level of sophistication and understanding of making records, then they've already got it. But the analog as a sound source is undoubtedly far superior to digital. But it's the process again. The coming back to the process, you see, that when you record on analog, if you've done it as to a high level with the sophistication of making something work, because it works, rather than because it's on a grid, rather than because it's precisely in time, rather than because every chorus sounds the same and every harmony is in tune, it's undoubtedly true that sort of stuff kills things. It kills any real kind of specialness, if you like, in a record. And it's blatantly obvious by the amount of material that you hear churned out on the internet these days that it's the same. I mean, there was a study done, as we both know, there was a study done regarding things do actually sound the same now. Scientifically proved that is the case. And that is because no care is taken. This is what I mean by people who've engaged on that kind of level with it would understand that straight away. That's why people say, for example, like the Rolling Stones, it doesn't really matter what they record on, because they will do what they do the same way they've done it for the last 50 years. And whether they do work on digital or analog will make no difference. And the people who are working with them will make no difference, because their records will always be of a certain sophistication. Their approach, the process they'll go through to make those records will always be a certain way. Whereas people that have not engaged with that process at that level before will assume that everything is a certain way, and it's just not, because classic records aren't made. There is no formula, there is no grid to make a classic record. That is not how it's done. It's never been how it's done.
So you're basically saying that as much as anything, coming in and recording in a studio like this is an experience that has a band up its game and develop a new way of working that
absolutely,
it
either develops a new way of working which they're not familiar with because they've never had that experience, or if they've already had it, it discourages things that make records less good.
Right.
So if say the drummer picks up a bit of pace during a track, on a digital system you can see that, and you could fix it if you wanted to. You put it all in on X BPM, beat detected, blah, 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 you do all this stuff and you put it in, it's all banging time. Some of the best records ever speed up. And that's why everyone still says they're the best records ever.
Because it's human.
Because it's proper, it's human. It has emotion and feeling behind it.